right now. I'm more encouraged now than I was 10 years ago about how people talk about this issue. Even it's kind of like we're having both things at once. It's getting worse and it's getting better at the same time, depending on where you look in the culture. But
Clash
overall,
of the paradigm.
yeah, more people seem to kind of get these issues than 20 years ago, which I think is a positive overall. But yeah, we're seeing some really terrible things happening also in big cities like California and in California and New York, for example, the very explicit use of them for social control. It's quite distressing and concerning.
We can spend hours on what both of you have to offer. I'll just highlight that you were recently published in the LA Times and again spoke out with some of these facts and figures that really the mainstream doesn't know. What was one of the main points that you were making in the LA Times article?
Yeah, there's a few of them that sort of I flesh out in the book that I think are highly relevant. And one is just that the rates of forced treatment are going up, 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 and have been for a very long time in Canada and the United States. Pretty well everywhere we can get decent data, although it's hidden. So it's underreported in part because it's very hard to get this data. Governments don't track it, they don't release it, all of that. But anywhere where you can find it, we're seeing the rates really going up, such that America and Canada both seem to be double, triple the rates in most of Western Europe and the UK. So begs the question, why? What's going on there? How are we using these laws and for what purposes? So that's one of the big ones. And the other big one I talk about in the book is that the bed numbers are much higher than is normally discussed. And you can splice these up in lots of ways. I don't pretend to have a definitive analysis, but I really highlight that the dominant narrative out there is wildly wrong. The sort of notion that we only have 10 state psychiatric hospital beds per 100,000 in America. That's technically true, but state hospitals are by and large not the predominant way where people are incarcerated under mental health laws anymore. They're much more often in all these other kinds of inpatient institutions. And then on top of all the inpatient institutions, we've had a massive growth in other types of residential care, residential institutions, and residential homes that function a lot like coercive care. So group homes, assisted living,